Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Mike Reed here, and I'm back again with our our next toy review, I should say. So just got off of the toy review marathon, basically, that we were doing last week, at least at the time of this recording. So, well, at the time of this recording will be released anyway. Of course, as you guys should know, I do record these videos obviously ahead of time, unlike how I used to, where I just did live streams of them. But anyway, if you guys want me to do more live stream toy reviews, let me know, because I will go back to that, and maybe I'll do them like every once in a while instead of how I used to do them, which was like every single one. But anyway, for today's toy review, we got yet another Beyblade product for you guys, of course. And today we're going to be taking a look at Beyblade Burst SpeedStorm Super Hyperion H6, and this thing is a beaut. Let me tell you, I love this one. I have a few problems with it, but the things that it did correct, I'm pretty happy about. But anyway, here's Super Hyperion H6 right in the top left-hand corner. Looks absolutely beautiful. This is the singles recolor. If you want to get the enemy-accurate version, which I'm definitely going to, I have to get the Volt Knockout Battle Set. Now, so far, for some reason, I've been having a really hard time finding that both online, and the last time I actually went out looking for the set the set version of this, yeah, I didn't have too much luck. But surprisingly, I did have the Pro Series Stadium, which sadly was a bit overpriced, as of course it is. But hopefully next time I head out, that should be on clearance, and I can swipe that out for you guys. But anyway, here we have the Beyblade SpeedStorm logo right there, with, of course, our good friend Spear Dillahan getting bursted yet again. So, again, guys, can we go F in the chat for Spear Dillahan? The poor guy cannot catch a break. He's always getting destroyed by somebody. It's crazy. But then again, that's not too far off from how he is in real life, since he's kind of crap in battle. But anyway, Vaver Surge Super Hyperion H6 we got there. Take a look at the back of the box. We have Super Hyperion H6. Yes, I know it is slightly dented from shipping, because I got this off of Amazon for like dirt cheap, basically. We got the Super King chip ring chassis disc right there, which is one attack, and then we get the driver Exceed SpeedStorm metal, and it does have heavy metal on it. And yeah, I actually have some nice positives about this driver. Most people have some problems with it, but for me, it actually solved a lot of problems. But we'll get to that once we actually take a look at the parts. You know, look at all the parts of it. But anyway, we have the fused attack power right there. We have these stats, which, again, don't bother reading these because they're absolute rubbish. Get the box out of the way, and then let's take a look at the Beyblade itself, starting with the Super King chip, or Storm chip as they call it in the English version of the toy line, which is Hyperion, and Hyperion looks really nice in this design. Funny thing is that this design color scheme, if you do not remember from Hypersphere, he is based off of the Cosmo Apocalypse recolor, sort of custom Beyblade that came in the, what was it called? The Apocalypse Blade set, yes. So that's what he's based on. Kind of an interesting color scheme to base it on, but regardless, it looks, well, not regardless, but anyway, it looks, yeah, actually, regardless is the proper word. Regardless, it's really, really nice chip with the red and the blue and the yellow, and it just overall is a very nice looking chip, and pretty much looks exactly like the original. Now, for comparison, I'm going to get my Takara Tomy Super Hyperion chip, so that way you guys can see how they look. Again, not too far off. Yeah, a little iffy on some of the details, like for example, that's the top part of the head crest is missing, the bottom part of the jaw blade piece is missing, or like the mouth guard's missing. They surprisingly detailed the flame pieces on the back of the head. And of course, the chip is obviously not, they don't have chip cores now, so it's just kind of a piece that mimics a chip core. I have no idea why these holes are here. I'm assuming it's to avoid choking problems. I don't know. But either way, really, really nice chip. And glad Hasbro kept it somewhat to the original, just now in the oddly Apocalypse Blade set colors. So getting that out of the way, we're going to take a look next at the ring, which is Super. Now, Super looks pretty good here. Definitely is pretty much akin to the original. The only thing that's kind of weird to me is that the bits where the original One Attack chassis would fit in on the Japanese release is now no longer colored silver. It's just colored yellow with the rest of the plastic. Very strange. And some of the details on here are missing. Like, for example, there's details missing here, details missing here, details missing here, details missing here. And surprisingly, they kept the flame details on these larger blades, so I'm surprised at that. And for a quick comparison, here is the Japanese Super Ring, so you guys can see where the lacking detail is and the obvious changes that were made for Hasbro's adaptation of the system. So, pretty nice stuff. Almost dropped the ring there. There we go. So you guys can see how those look. So yeah, that is the Super Ring. Very nice. And also very hollow too. And, well, actually the original was somewhat hollow as well, as you can see the bottom of the Japanese Super Ring. Alright, next we have the chassis disc, which is One Attack. Now, noticeably, compared to the original One Attack, yeah, it's not too far off. Not too far off, but obviously it's missing a lot of things. Like, for example, this plastic insert is now completely gone. The One Attack on the little parts here are gone. The inner moving pieces that would basically function as the disc, this little inner part that moves, is now no longer there. And again, probably the most obvious thing, it's smaller. Way smaller. And see, these little inner part here tries to mimic the inside of the little moving parts on One Attack. So that's pretty nice. And it actually does have the rivets too, so, and of course it's missing a couple of the rivets on there. Well, they're not as closely packed as on the actual original Takara Tomy version of One Attack. So there you go. So that is that. That is One Attack. And lastly, we get the driver, which is Exceed SpeedStorm Metal. And I quite like this. The first obvious thing about SpeedStorm Metal you'll notice is that there's a lot on this bay. There is a lot of SpeedStorm Metal. All of this right here, all this shiny bit is all metal. And yes, it's a decent bit heavy. So definitely adds some weight there. So good job, Hasbro. Now with Exceed, the whole gimmick of this driver was the free spinning plate, which as you guys can tell, it is still there, so that's nice. They didn't completely nerf that gimmick. That, and the inner part of this, on the Japanese version at least, would be rubber, which would make it insanely powerful for an attack type, because all the weight and all that speed that it would gain from the rubber, and the flat, and the flat sort of shape of the driver. Yeah, Super Hyperion was a pretty OP attack type during the early days of Super King. So, but in this one, there's no rubber on it. The spinning plate's still there, and of course, the Japanese obviously did not have this giant chunk of metal on it because the giant chunk of metal was not on this, but was on the chassis. So, yeah. But anyway, for a quick comparison, here's the Japanese Exceed, so you can see the changes that they made, and the flat bit is actually a lot bigger too. And as you can see, it is a good bit taller as well. Now, something else that I should note is that with Helios Volcano and Hyperion Burn, which those in the English are going to be released under the names Evo, Hyperion Flamebringer, and Evo, Evo Helios, Blazebringer. I know, very confusing names. Heck, even I was confused trying to remember their names. Those are going to be coming with the X and Z chips, and they are backwards compatible with those. We'll talk more on those once I actually get those, whether it's the Japanese version through the Limit Break DX set, or from just the many Hasbro's, releases that they're going to be doing with those bays in them, which I believe it's a double pack for one of them, and then the other two are coming in, I believe it's called the Motorized Attack set or something like that. I can't remember. But anyway, I'll talk more on that once I actually get the proper parts for that. But anyway, let's put the bay together. So we have the Storm chip right here, which we're going to put right inside. Snaps like that. Take the one attack, flip it over, put that in, lock it all together, and there you go. There is Super Hyperion H6. Very, very nice. So, for quick comparison, if I can just put the other Japanese Hyperion back together. There we go. Here he is next to the original Japanese Super Hyperion. And as you guys can see, clear differences with this. This one is way heavier. This one's kind of a skinny mini. So you guys can see how the parts look on these two. But still, even with its problems, I forgot to mention this when we were talking about the driver for this guy, Hyperion H6, is that one thing I like about that driver is that although, yes, it is plastic, so it is going to be considerably slower than the Japanese release, which is stupid, insane fast when you launch it. This one, I'm glad it has plastic because it's easier to clean. And there's one thing I hate about Beyblades, especially now with Generation 3. Yes, we're 3 generations into this series of spinning top collectathon anime thing, is rubber tips. I hate rubber tips. I just do. Because they are such a pain in the nards to clean. I hate cleaning them because I basically have to clean them every single time. And the worst part is that even if I clean a stadium, which I pretty much clean my stadiums pretty much every week, probably once a week I'll clean my stadiums because they do get dirty fairly quickly. Even if when I clean them, and I clean them very, very thoroughly, the stadiums, it is so annoying when I use one of my bays that has a rubber tip, and then even after I cleaned it, it somehow gets dirt on it. I don't know where it comes from, but it just randomly just gets more dirt on it, even though I cleaned it. I got every little nook, every little cranny, it just gets dirt on it, and it ticks me the heck off. It just does. It is not fun. But anyway, for comparison sake, let's continue on here. Let's bring in some of the other bays that we looked at earlier earlier last week. Well, not earlier last week entirely. We're going to start off with Rage Longinus, or Raid Luinor, right there. So you guys can see how these two handsome devils look. Very, very nice. Next, we will bring in Glide Rockdevor / Ragnarok R6. You guys can see how they look together. Absolutely handsome devils. So there you go. Next, we're going to bring in Spear Dullahan D6. Very, very nice. Right there. Next, we will bring in Brave Ragnarok Rockdevor, the single, one of a few singles for Wave 1 that we've gotten so far. Very, very nice. And then lastly, we're going to compare this to the original Japanese King Helios. And I should preface right now that I am still looking, at least online, at least until I actually, get a chance to maybe get out of the house again. I am still looking for Colossal Helios, the Hasbro version of this guy. So definitely stay tuned as I am looking for him, and I am going to see if I can get him for a good deal. And also, hopefully for this month, for a little bit, this should be the last review. Unless for some reason I just get a real lucky deal or some miracle happens and I get yet another bay, this should be the last toy review for a while. It should be. But then again, I am kind of a spoiled person, and I get a lot of stuff sometimes. Sometimes I just get these, sometimes I just get lucky and I just get either really good deals, either that, or I don't know, just the planets align perfectly and I could just get a whole bunch of bays for real cheap. So there you go. But alright guys, that has been my review of Beyblade Burst Surge SpeedStorm Super Hyperion H6. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you guys enjoyed, please make sure to drop a like on this video, subscribe if you're new, and ring that notification bell so that way you get notifications for all my uploads. Later, Reed Squad, and have a good one.